Welcome to In Search of Food, where cooking and eating out does not have to be expensive, where I ignore the Michelin stars and find value for a meal. Welcome back to In Search for Food. Once again, I'm Anton Ng, and thanks for watching my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. On today's menu, we are making battered fried fish. So to start off, let me show you what we have. We have, as you can see, 3 cod fillets. These are frozen cod fillets, and these are actually deboned. There's no bones, there's no skin. I have 3 defrosted cod fried fillets. The important thing about the fillets is you gotta make sure they're fully defrosted. So make sure they're fully defrosted and try to get some tissue or Bounty or whatever you have, and then I will tap it to get rid of all the water. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. And now we're gonna go on into how to make the batter. Making batter is very simple. It's not hard to do, so let's get into the kitchen over here and let's begin to show you how to make the batter for the cod fillets. Now let's take a look at the ingredients you will need to make the fish batter. So let's start off with one of the main ingredients is you will need flour. You will need all-purpose flour. That's the first ingredient you need is all-purpose flour. The second ingredient you'll need is baking powder, and then you will need a little salt, and if you add a little bit of paprika to the dry mix, you will get nice golden brown fish. And finally, you will need is milk. So it depends on how much fish and chips are you gonna make. If you're gonna make a lot, you're gonna have to add more milk and more flour. But since I am only making 3 fillets, I will probably use maybe 3/4 of milk, and that should be fine for me. So now let's begin putting all the ingredients together to make the fish batter. The first thing we're going to need to do is add some flour to the bowl. So that, and maybe just a little more. I'm not really measuring, but I made this before, so I know. So that should be enough flour for my 3 fish fillets. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little salt. And then we're going to add a little paprika. The paprika is optional, but if you do add a little paprika, it will make the batter nice in the orange brown color. So a little paprika, and then what we're going to do is just add probably a tablespoon of baking soda. You don't need a lot, most likely just a tablespoon of baking soda. So we'll just add a little bit of baking soda. So now this is all done. That's good. So now what we need to do, since this is all done, we need to mix this together. So we will mix all the flour and the ingredients together, and then we'll slowly add some milk until you get sort of a pancake consistency, but I don't want it too thick, but I don't want it to be too runny. So remember that you can add milk, but you can't take milk away. So just add a little milk, just enough, And now we're gonna just gently mix this together. This should be, we need a little more, but this is getting there now. It's getting there. So now we keep on adding milk until you get a pancake consistency. So just add a little at a time. We don't want to add too much milk because it will become too runny. So we'll just keep on doing this. We're almost there actually. We just need a little more milk. So you want a pancake consistency. So I believe this should be enough milk. If it's not enough milk, we'll get some more, but I believe this should be enough. I don't want this to be too runny. So let's try mixing this again. So this should be okay. Yes, it's fine. As you can see, the consistency, it's fine. All I need to do is just briskly mix this together, and I'll do the mixing, and then thereafter you can come back and I will show you how to fry the fish. Okay, let's get mixing. So now, as you can see, the oil is hot and it's ready for frying. You have to remember you want a medium heat or medium high, but you gotta watch the heat, because if the heat is too high, you will burn the fish. So now let's take a look at the batter. See, now the batter, yes, you can see it's a nice consistency, pancake consistency. Here we go. So let me stir this up. If the batter sits for a long time, what you will have to do is you will have to stir it up, because it does get a little stiff. So I'm going to stir up the batter, and now we begin the fish fry. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of fish, and then I'm going to dunk it in the fillet. As you can see me, I'm going to dunk it in the fillet, and you gotta make sure it's coated very well. See, as you can see, I'm trying to coat it as much as I can to make sure the entire fillet is well coated. And then what I'm going to do is drain the excess off, and then we'll begin frying. So give me a second to do this. So what we will do now is coat the fish and chips. So what we'll do now is we'll make sure the entire fish is coated and battered, and then we'll dunk it in the oil. So you only need enough oil, to actually cover half of the fish. You don't need lots of oil. Okay, once you have too much oil, it's gonna splatter all over the place. So we don't need all that oil. So now my fish and chips is almost fully coated. Sometimes if it's not coated enough, you can just get a spoon and sort of push it in there. So now the fish and chips is coated now. Now we can begin putting it in the fryer now. So now what we need to do is lift up your fish and chips and lift it up. Lift up your fish. And then what we need to do is we need to get all the excess drain off. And then now we can just dunk it in there. It doesn't matter if it's not fully coated. What I would do is I would just use my tongs, and then I will just dunk a little on there. Sometimes when the batter doesn't fully stick to the fish, most likely in my situation, it's because I might have added too much milk. Okay, so now we'll let this cook, and then we'll flip it open to the other side in a couple of seconds. Now the fish is ready. It should be nice and brown on the other side. Now we can begin to flip the fish. Let's take a quick look. There you go. Now the fish and chips is nice and brown. We will cook this other side now. And then after I finish flipping this, we are done. So this is how you make battered fried fish. So this is done. I'll continue making the rest of the fish, and then later on we'll show you how to make yourself some tartar sauce. So now your fish and chips is ready. Now I'm going to show you how to make your own tartar sauce. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with some ranch dressing. So some ranch dressing, we'll just squirt a little ranch dressing onto the plate. That should be enough. We don't want to overdo the ranch dressing. So now, since we have the ranch dressing, what I'm going to put is we will be putting some relish. Yes, some relish inside some relish on top of the ranch dressing. So maybe a teaspoon. It depends how sweet you want, but this should be exactly enough. So I'll put that in there, and then we'll just mix it together, and that will be our sauce for the battered fish. So all we need to do is have some rice and maybe have a little vegetables, and this is dinner. Now, since the deep fried battered fish is done, all we need to do is add some vegetables, some rice, and dinner is served. So all we need to do is add some vegetables, add a little broccoli, and then I'm going to add a little rice, and then dinner is served. Add some rice, and now dinner is served.